Okay, let's get right into it. We all face this problem, like every single day, right? We've got limited resources, time, money, you name it. But our wants, they're basically endless. So how in the world do you make the absolute best choice? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a really elegant mathematical secret to making pretty much perfect decisions.
So picture this. You've got $100 just for fun. And let's say you love two things, reading and pizza. What do? Go all in on pizza? Spend it all on books? Or try to find some perfect mix in between? I mean, how do you wring every last drop of happiness out of that $100 bill? And this isn't some weird thought experiment, right? We make choices like this all the time.
You know who's absolutely obsessed with this stuff? Economists. They actually call it the happiness puzzle. And of course, they've come up with a super powerful way to solve it for pretty much any choice you're facing when you've got a tight budget.
So, here's the game. The goal is to maximize what they call utility, which is really just a fancy word for your total happiness or satisfaction. But here's the catch. You've got to do it while staying inside your budget. That budget, that's your constraint. And that, right there, is the core puzzle we're going to crack today.
So how do we do it? How do we solve this puzzle? Well, economists have a secret weapon. And look, it's a tool that sounds kind of scary and mathematical, I'll give you that, but it is so good at finding the best possible outcome when you're up against a limit. It's called the Lagrange multiplier. Okay, let's just push all the scary-looking math to the side for a minute. Let's focus on what this thing actually does. All it is, really, is a way to find that perfect sweet spot, that point of maximum happiness where you haven't broken your budget. It helps you find that one combination where you literally can't get any happier, unless, someone gives you more money. And this is where it gets really cool. When you actually use this method, it spits out this incredibly simple, super intuitive golden rule for spending your money, and it's something you can totally use like every single day.
Now to get this rule, there's just one concept we got to know: marginal utility. And marginal is one of those economist words that just means the next one. That's it. So marginal utility is the extra bit of happiness you get from, say, the next slice of pizza. Think about it. That first slice is heaven, right? But the 10th slice, not so much. Your happiness from each extra slice goes down. That's all diminishing marginal utility is.
Okay, so this slide basically lays out the golden rule. What all that Lagrange math proves is that you found the perfect spending mix when the bang for your buck is equal for everything. In our little example, that means the happiness you get from the last dollar you spent on pizza is exactly the same as the happiness you got from the last dollar you spent on books. So how does this work in practice? It's pretty simple, actually. Step 1, you just compare the bang for your buck for pizza versus books. Step 2, you spend your next dollar on whichever one gives you more happiness. But remember, as you buy more of it, its marginal utility, its bang, goes down. So you just keep repeating that process until the bang for your buck is the same for both. And that's it. You stop. You've hit the perfect balance. But wait, there's more. Hidden inside these Lagrange equations is this little secret. It's a Greek letter, and it holds this incredibly powerful piece of information. The letter is lambda, and it's the multiplier we've been talking about. So you might see this little lambda symbol in a formula and just think, oh, it's just a variable, whatever. But what does it actually mean? What is this number telling you about your decision? Okay, here it is. Lambda is what's known as the shadow price of your budget. It tells you with pinpoint accuracy how much more happiness you'd get if your budget suddenly increased by one single dollar. It literally puts a number on the value of having a little more to spend. So, for instance, let's say you figured out your perfect pizza and book combo, and the math tells you that lambda is 0.7. What does that mean? It means if I handed you one extra dollar, your total happiness would go up by 0.7 happiness points, or whatever you want to call them. It's the marginal utility of money itself. How cool is that?
Yeah, a great way to think about it is as the marginal profit of money. It's the extra return you'd get, whether that's in happiness for you or actual profit for a company, if your constraint was just a little bit looser. And knowing that number, that is incredibly powerful.
Okay, this isn't just about figuring out your weekend spending. This exact same logic is a huge deal for how big businesses make decisions. They just kind of flip the problem upside down.
Just look at the comparison here. You, the consumer, you're trying to max out your happiness with a limited budget. A factory, it's trying to do the reverse. It wants to minimize its costs while hitting a specific production target, like making 1,000 widgets. It is the exact same puzzle, just in reverse. And for that factory,
Our magic number, lambda, tells them their marginal cost, what it really costs to make just one more widget.
And this is how they answer some really big questions. Like, what's the real cost of producing one more unit? Or should we spend our next $10,000 on more labor or a new machine? They're figuring out the shadow price of their own inputs. And knowing this stuff is what drives huge, multi-million-dollar decisions, all to get the most bang for their buck.
So that brings it all back to you. This is so much more than just a math formula. It's a whole new way of thinking. So the next time you're stuck on a choice, doesn't matter if it's about pizza or books or how to spend your time or your energy, try this. Don't just focus on the options. Think about the limit you're facing, and then ask yourself a new question. What's the shadow price of my constraint? What's the real value of just a little more? Thinking that way, well, it might just make the best decision completely obvious.